Welcome to Chicago Public Library's 2023 Teen Best of the Best books. Our librarians read books all year long until we pick 50 of the very best of the year. Here are some of our favorites.
This year's Best of the Best books that compelled me touched upon family and friend relationships, trust, love, trauma, and healing. Sometimes your family isn't always going to understand you and be there for you in times of crisis. There's a saying by Nishan Panwar, real family does not come from your blood. It is the people standing beside you when no one else is. An Appetite for Miracles is a touching story written in verse which explores the relationship between two high school teens, Dana and Raul. Dana, whose grandfather has dementia, uses a taste of food to help him remember pieces of his life. All the while, Dana's mother fat shames her, amongst other things, causing tension within the family. After Raul's mother's wrongful arrest, life has been challenging. Raul struggles with his internal conflict and uses his newfound skill, playing guitar for dementia patients, to forget his troubles. When Dana and Raul meet, a sweet romance develops and their journey to heal does not end the way one will expect. But it is a journey full of possibilities. When You Wish Upon a Lantern is the story about Leah, who lives in Chicago's Chinatown neighborhood. Leah helps to run the family business, the Wishing Lantern store, started by her late grandmother. The family business is struggling, and Leah wants to help. Eliciting the assistance of her childhood friend and business neighbor, Kai, Leah will try to make the business succeed by following in her grandmother's tradition. You see, Leah and her grandmother would secretly fulfill the wishes people wrote on their lanterns, bringing joy into the community. As Kai and Leah work on their wish-granting mission, their relationship begins to take a new turn. But their parents feud and their plans threaten to tear them apart. Will Kai and Leah make their wishes come true?
Isles of the Gods. Sally knows that she can be an amazing captain like her father. But how is she supposed to prove herself when the captain that she's apprenticed to treats her like a lowly deckhand? She can't learn anything from the ship's magician, and her father can't be bothered to come for her. All thoughts of self-pity get thrown out the window when she's charged with a top-secret royal mission. Will Sally be enough to get Prince Leander safely to the Isles of the Gods before it's too late? Impossible escape. Rudy Verba failed to evade the Nazis, but through a combination of determination and luck, he's managed to stay alive despite their best efforts. As bigger gas chambers get built and more trains full of people arrive at Auschwitz, Rudy knows that he has to do something before time runs out. This is the true story about how the world became aware of the death camps operating across Nazi-occupied Europe. It was because of the tenacity of teenage prisoners.
You know what I love? Stories, art, and being queer. So what could be better than books that combine all three? Is love the answer? Not always. Chica tried dating a couple guys in high school, but she didn't enjoy physical contact with them or develop the same feelings that they had for her. She doesn't know why until she goes to college and meets a professor who heads a household of people on the asexual spectrum. There, she finds friends who accept her as she is. I love how this character-driven standalone manga explores the nuances of sexuality and identity. Sometimes love is the answer, but it only raises more questions, like, who sent me these cookies? I'm Kinda Chubby and I'm Your Hero is a manga series about Ponjuru, a hardworking actor who worries that his weight will hamper his career. Then he starts receiving anonymous gifts of baked goods. It's his first fan. Inari is a pastry chef who admires Ponjuru's ability to express himself. But can he learn to do the same and tell Ponjuru how he feels? The first two books of this lighthearted manga series are available now.
Let's be real. Straight rom-coms and stories have their place. But sometimes I just want to read about queer kids going through the same things I did. These books showcase the unique experiences of queer teens today, from coming out to friends, to grappling with complicated family history, to owning our total inability to sit properly in chairs. Imogen, obviously. Imogen is straight, obviously, because if she weren't straight, she would know by now, right? I mean, her sister is queer, and her best friend is queer, and her other best friend is queer, and she's been going to the GSA as an ally since her freshman year. So now that she's a senior, as she visits her best friend in college for the weekend and learns that said best friend sort of told people that Imogen was her ex, it's not a big deal for Imogen to play along, right? And when she feels more at home with these fun queer kids than she ever has before, and when her entire being fills up with butterflies every time she looks at this girl Tess, that doesn't mean anything, because if she were queer, she would know by now, right? This book is for everyone who wishes they would have figured it out a little sooner, and everyone who's ever questioned whether what they feel is valid and real. Only this beautiful moment. When Mud, an out gay teen living in Los Angeles, gets the news that his grandfather is dying, he accompanies his emotionally distant father to Tehran, where the revelation of family secrets will force Mud into a new understanding of his history, his culture, and himself. Following 3 generations from Iran to LA and back, Mud, his father, and his grandfather all get a chance to tell their story. Sometimes social media can make it seem like there's only one way you're supposed to be queer, but this book offers beautiful alternatives as it follows these 3 men through loves and losses. Margot Zimmerman gets the girl. Margot Zimmerman likes to know everything there is to know before she attempts to do a thing. So when she realizes that she's gay and has no idea how to be gay, she enlists the help of Abby, a girl who's been out at school for years, in exchange for tutoring Abby in history. At first, it's a simple exchange, mutually beneficial. Everyone gets what they want. But as the 2 girls catch feelings for each other, things become much more complicated than either girl signed up for. This book will make you laugh out loud as Abby makes Margot learn how to sit wrongly in chairs, as well as make you fume as it tackles biphobia and the judgment that can come from within the queer community as well as from without. But all the way through, I promise, you will root for Margot Zimmerman to finally get the girl.
Three of my favorite nonfiction best of the best books this year are stories of transformation and societal change that will leave you inspired. Accountable, the true story of a racist social media account and the teenagers whose lives it changed. This well-researched book tells the true story of how a social media account created by a group of teens changed the lives of many in Albany, California. I love how the stories and multiple perspectives are divided in short, snappy chapters in an unbiased and thought-provoking way. Teens will relate to the diverse characters facing issues like teasing, bullying, peer pressure, and recovering from emotional challenges in a way that's both engaging and not preachy. A Quantum Life, my unlikely journey from the streets to the stars. I was quickly reeled into the life of Hakeem as he shared his life story from navigating rough neighborhoods in New Orleans, LA, and Houston as a kid, to rising as a respected astrophysicist at NASA. His truth isn't just about reaching for the stars, it's a testament of how an individual can transcend adversity, embrace the limitless potential within, and seamlessly weave street smarts with astrophysics. America Redux, visual stories from our dynamic history. Because history is now, history is you, history is a relationship that never ends, a quote that starts in the book. I grew to love history as I got older, and this book does a great job of revealing the cyclical nature of history, presenting it thematically rather than chronologically, providing bite-sized, visually stunning insights that make the reader and the content incredibly powerful. This book's unique collage-style pages and visual storytelling format takes you on a journey throughout history, learning about topics that are frequently not covered in school.
There are few things I love more than a good ghost story, and two of my favorite titles from this year's Best of the Best put a new twist on the classic genre. In the graphic novel The Hills of Estrella Roja, queer college student Kat travels to a remote town to investigate paranormal events for her podcast. The locals make Kat feel much less than welcome, but Mari, who is in town for her grandmother's funeral, is happy to make a friend outside of her secretive and tense extended family. Together, they will try to learn if the hills are really hiding ghosts, witches, or something else entirely. If you like your hauntings a little more grotesque, you should absolutely pick up She is a Haunting. Jade is reluctantly spending the summer in Vietnam helping her father restore an old house into a bed and breakfast that will supposedly turn his fortunes around. Despite the house's charming appearance, Jade is plagued by strange bugs, decaying food, and dreams of a beautiful dead woman. As she sinks deeper into the house's seductive mysteries, Jade is in danger of falling victim to an evil much bigger than any human spirit.
Books are many things for me, especially an escape. Getting lost in the world of a book can feel better than everyday stresses, even if those worlds are terrifying. Two of my absolute favorite books from this year explore worlds that are horrific but captivating. Mage and the Endless Unknown is a bizarre, nearly wordless graphic novel. Mage travels through a fantastical foresty garden world, making friends and facing foes. Mage and their companions lose literal parts of themselves along the way, and they rebuild each other with the help of Mage's magic wand. I love that the story can be interpreted different ways based on the reader's view of the black and white illustrations. They switch from like a cottagecore cutesy to horrifying and back again, and it's honestly a story like no other. And the next one needs lots of trigger warnings. The Spirit Bares Its Teeth is dark. Like, I had nightmares kind of dark, but it was so worth it for this brilliantly written story. Silas is an autistic trans boy who's seen as a violet-eyed woman by society. This means that his life is doomed to being a mother to violet-eyed sons that are allowed to communicate with the dead, which violet-eyed women can do too, but they're not allowed. Silas would rather rip out his insides than do this, so he skirts an arranged marriage and is sent to a, quote, finishing school for women. And this is where the wild body and psychological horror come in. This place does horrible things to people who don't conform, and the ghosts of dead students reach out to Silas for help, who also must save himself.
So when I can see myself, my friends, or my family members in characters of a book, I know it's going to be an unpredictable plot. Invisible Sun, Andre Jackson has just been released from a juvenile detention center. It is March 2020 in Portland, Oregon, and the beginning of the dreadful COVID-19 pandemic and the Black Lives Matter movement. Andre is trying to reclaim his identity because he has taken the rap for his best friend Eric, who was accused of theft at a white classmate's party. As Andre is dealing with death in his family, his high school closing, and gentrification in his neighborhood, he is forced to face many obstacles as he tries to reclaim his identity and find his missing best friend. He fears that Eric's adoptive parents are not who they are really pretending to be. They're vicious games. Adina Walker is the valedictorian of Edgewater Academy. She has been accepted into Yale University, her dream school. Unfortunately, her fight with one of the rich and powerful students at Edgewater ends everything for her. She finds out that she has been blacklisted. The only way for her to regain her future is to participate in the Finish, a fierce competition that is held every year for 12 prestigious young ladies that is held at the Remington Estate. The Remingtons are the richest and most powerful family in New England. Their wealth and power can open any door. She is invited to participate in the game, which is the Finish, but finds out that the Remington family, they are all sociopaths, and that the game is a deadly competition that ends up being a battle of survival. Simply put, Ace of Spades meets the Squid Game, with a sprinkling of The Bachelor.
I Have Loved You in Another Life. In this epic love story, past lives merge to tell a singular, slow burn tale of soulmates meeting each other again and again across moments in time. In this timeline, Shosh has derailed her life/acting career as she grieves the death of her sister/BFF. Sweetest human in the world, Evan, is ready to give up his artistic dreams to take care of his mother and brother after his dad walks out on the family. Both characters are darkly snarky and spiky, emotionally reeling until they start to hear a mysterious song in their heads that leads them to meet one another and change their fate. Along the way, we meet glimmers of their past selves and loves, hits and misses, echoing through time. The word choice is also so beautifully poetic. I dare you to read it and make it through without a massive cry sesh. For a lighter love story with a heart of gold, try Hockey Girl Loves Drama Boy, a sports romance that subverts gender norms, breaking the ice without breaking hearts. Alex, an elite hockey player, is bullied by her teammate until her rage turns physical. She decides to learn how to control her cool with words instead of her fists, asking for some pointers from Ezra, a pansexual theater geek with wicked comebacks. Though Ezra is getting over a breakup from his boyfriend, he finds he can also learn a thing or two from Alex. Their meeting in the middle is a heartwarming tale that leads to Smooch City.
Three of my favorite books this year feature characters in impossible situations who are forced to make tough choices. If you're looking for a story that you won't be able to put down and that will resonate with you long after you turn the last page, I would recommend any of these titles. After Spence witnesses a girl run away from a party and get tragically hit by a car, he wakes up the next morning only to realize it's the day of the party again. In The Eternal Return of Clara Hart, a powerful debut novel, Spence is caught in a horrific time loop, watching the same girl die over and over again. Spence soon realizes that he must not only solve the mystery of what happens to Clara Hart at the party, but he must also confront the culture of toxic masculinity that enables it. At the beginning of Gather, things are not going great for 10th grader Ian. His family's farm has fallen into disrepair and his mom is behind on bills, so the possibility of losing their land looms over them. But thanks to his affinity for nature and his mechanical skills, Ian has an incredible resilience in even the toughest circumstances. And when he adopts an enormous dog who wanders out of the woods one day, things start to look up. But eventually, Ian must put his survival skills to the test in order to keep his land and the dog he loves. Readers will be drawn in by Ian's candid and funny voice, and don't worry, the dog doesn't die at the end. Alana K. Arnold's newest novel, The Blood Years, is based on the real life of her grandmother during the Holocaust. When World War II breaks out in Chernovitz, Romania, not much changes in 13-year-old Reka's life at first. Her mother is still depressed over their father leaving the family. Her sister Astra still walks her home after ballet class every day, except when Astra sneaks off to hang out with a much older doctor. And her grandfather is still the family's fiercest and most reliable protector. But soon Russian forces invade the city and later the Germans, and eventually Reka must confront the fact that there are some things her Opa can't save her from. As much as this is a story about war, it is also a story about love and hope amidst unthinkable circumstances. If you feel like you've read every Holocaust book, I think The Blood Years will prove you wrong.
Daughters of Aduma. Dirt doesn't bow anymore, or at least that's what she wanted, until her sister is brutally attacked in the bowing tournament, an all-female fighting sport, by their rivals. There are only 4 of them left, and the other 2 sisters are too young to fight. Now, Dirt has to take her sister's place, and she doesn't believe she can, and neither does her rivals. But the gods have other plans, and blesses Dirt with a power that the tournament hasn't seen in generations. A power that might be strong enough to beat the notorious Vine fam and save the Mud fam for no longer existing. This West African fantasy will have you cheering on the very young female fighters all the way to the end. The Self-Same Medal. And this West African-inspired historical fantasy based on real and not so real events, the Sands family has always been in charge of keeping the Fae folk at bay. But one day, 16-year-old Joan realizes that the Fae have returned, full force, with a deadly political agenda for London. After the courts arrest her uncle and the Fae openly attack her, she now needs the help of Shakespeare, yes, that one, some unlikely allies, and her West African Orisha, who has blessed her with metal-wielding abilities to stop the Fae before it's too late.
Thanks for watching. If you want to see our full list, go to the link below, and we'll see you next year.